Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. It's been a busy Saturday of 2023 high school commits, and it's capped off by Arvell Reese committing to the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes have obviously headlined a really strong 2023 class, primarily on the offensive side of the ball. They get a really athletic guy on the defensive side of the ball. Before we get into what this kid's about, where I think he might play for the Buckeyes, I just wanted to say thank you guys for all the support you guys have shown the channel. Love talking ball with you guys in the comment section. I love making these videos. And if you guys do like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Consider liking the video. That helps the fellas out a lot, and we appreciate it. Let's get into a little Arvell Reese and what I think he means for this program. So Arvell Reese is 6'3.5", 225 pounds. He just measured out at a camp earlier this summer. So 225 pounds, rising senior, and he's really athletic for that weight. He's listed as a linebacker, but what I want to take a look at is who was recruiting Arvell Reese, and that's Jim Knowles. So Jim Knowles comes in, and he has a new scheme for the defense. It's not going to be that kind of plain vanilla defense that Combs ran and that's Ohio State's ran in the past. It's going to be more of that 3-4 look, and I think Arvell Reese is recruited by Jim Knowles because he can play that 3-4 on ball outside linebacker. And it's, again, he's coming into his senior year at 225 pounds. He has the length, probably is going to come into the Ohio State program at 6'4", and he played a lot from the edge during his high school time, and I'm excited to see what he does this senior year. But you can tell he has some experience on the edge, and he has the body type to be an edge defender. And so I wonder if Jim Knowles, who specifically was leading the recruiting for this kid, wants him to play that 3-4 outside linebacker spot, because that is what Ohio State will go to. That's what Jim Knowles ran at Oklahoma State, and he ran it really well. One of the best defenses in the country last year. And again, it's a complicated scheme, but the talent that Jim Knowles is going to have with the Buckeyes, this defense might take some time. It might take a couple games into the 2022 season. But you know this defense is going to be good. Jim Knowles is one of the best defensive coordinators, if not the best defensive coordinator in the country. You give him all that talent, and he's going to make it work. But part of that process is getting his kind of guys into the program, and Arvell Reese is one of those guys. Again, really long, really explosive kid, and he's already 225 pounds. That's pretty heavy for a rising senior who would play that traditional Mike linebacker. So I wonder by the time he gets to Ohio State, if he's up around 240 pounds, 250 pounds, and he just transitions to that outside linebacker spot where I really think that could fit his skill set. That's not to say he can't play that Mike linebacker spot, because he is very athletic. He is good in space. But again, if you can get a guy who is really good off the edge, who can play in space, drop into the flat, tackle linebackers, carry tight ends, it's going to be special. And I think this kid can do it. Before we close out, guys, I just want to take a look at this Ohio State class. Again, we noticed Ohio State is doing a very good job in the class. It's a top 5 class, primarily at that wide receiver position. But they're starting to build that defensive skill makers out, right? They got Jason Moore a couple weeks ago. That was a massive get. And then they add Arvell Reese to a really offensive-heavy class. But they're starting to get those athletes on the defensive side of the ball. And again, Jim Knowles is a good recruiter, but he's an even better schematic developer. And that's what you're going to look for from Ohio State on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to be talented, but the scheme is going to be a lot better, especially when Jim Knowles gets his players that he thinks fit his scheme the most. And I think Arvell Reese is a perfect example of that. Again, a guy 6'3.5", 225 pounds, as a 17-year-old kid that's really special. Again, not necessarily a top 100 prospect, but you look where his offers are coming from: Kentucky, Bama. Like, he was getting some big-time offers. I think USC was in the running as well. A lot of guys wanted him. He's from Ohio. He decides to stay with the Ohio State Buckeyes, staying home. And the Buckeyes continue to dominate and just get massive amount of talent coming into Columbus. Guys, again, want to close it out by just saying thank you for all the support you guys have shown the channel. It's a blast talking with you guys in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and we'll talk to y'all later.